Yeah, it was great. Just to get the guys out there. We don't want anyone killing each other or anything, but it was fun to score some goals, and I thought the guys played hard and had a fabulous week.
Talk to Jack Devine kind of about what the general messages you had for the guys. He called them, I think, non-negotiables, and I think one was be a good guy, the other one was work hard. Obviously, there's the honest stuff, there's the scrimmage, but how much does kind of this camp boil down to just things like that?
Yeah, the camp's not about the on ice or the scrimmage or any of that. It's a learning process for these kids and just trying to help them adapt to being a pro. So we throw a lot of information at them this week, a lot of different speakers and different seminars and little things on the ice and details that they can take home for the summer to hopefully help them improve for the next time they come back. And it's a process, but it's the most important thing this week is having the guys get to know each other, building those relationships that all good teams have, because these are the guys that are going to help us down the road. So I think they all did that this week and did a great job of it. There was not a bad egg in the bunch, and they all did everything expected of them.
A lot of new faces. What did you know about the returning campers, maybe the guys that come back a little bit more confidence in year 2 and 3?
Yeah, it's a whirlwind when guys like last year that got drafted, and I think camp was right after the draft, and they don't even remember half the camp because their heads are still spinning. So to see those guys come back and feel more comfortable and at ease and kind of take it in a little more and get a little more out of it is a big thing. But, our older guys that have been here a few times, I give them a lot of credit for leading the way and bringing the group together and, getting out of their comfort zone and making sure everyone's a part of it. So that's the biggest thing.
On a personal level, a lot of these guys, obviously you talk to them while they're here. After the draft, and I know they hear from you pretty early on as well. How much do you just enjoy this part of your job, just kind of being an early touch point for these guys at this stage of their career?
Oh, for our development staff like me, Tommy, and Rhino, this is the best week of the year for us because we, a lot of these guys live in different countries and we only get to see them once or twice a year or whatever. So this is the week we actually get to spend like quality time with them. It's semi-babysitting service. We're with them from like 7 to 7 every day, but it's great because you get to see who the characters are, who's the quiet guy, who's the leader, and it's, it builds a good bond moving forward that we can all trust in each other, and it's way more comfortable when we're talking to them throughout the year and sending them video clips and stuff like that to interact with them.
Mackie Samuskevich seemed really confident out there. What were your kind of impressions from him this week?
Yeah, he's a mature pro and a leader. He's one of those guys I was speaking about that brings the group together. He's a really outgoing kid, very focused, very mature. I know this will be his first real year pro, but he comes off like a seasoned vet. He's just got that unique swagger about him that guys gravitate towards him. So, he was one of those guys that definitely led the way all week for us.
He said that his goal this year is to make the NHL roster. You think he can do it?
Well, that should be his goal, right? That's what everyone wants to do. So, yeah, his focus should be – I don't see why he couldn't. He's a very strong skater. He's got a fabulous shot. He plays the game the right way, north-south. He's got to get head on his shoulders. He's physically mature too, which a lot of guys aren't when they're first turning pro. So the sky's the limit for that kid. Whether it's October of this year or January, this kid's going to play. He's a good prospect. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and the sky's the limit for him.
During this camp, do the younger guys come up to you and just ask, try and pick your brain a little bit? Because obviously you got a great career in the NHL as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We're on the bus together all the time. There's different guys asking different questions and stuff. And, with Tommy and Rhino, we're all from different walks of life, and we all play pro at different points in our career. So it's just good feedback for the kids to be able to just, get to know us on a human level and pick our brains about certain stuff, the ups and downs of an NHL career. So, yeah, that's the fun part is talking to these kids.
I don't know how much you talk to the goalies. I know they have their own department, but Clifford had a great first half there. Just got drafted. What do you think it does for a guy's confidence? So, like I said, it's just a scrimmage, but he's leaving this camp on a really high note.
Well, I think just having Lou around for these goalies, just to see Lou here every day is, an eye-opener for them, probably culture shock. But, we were lucky enough to have the whole goalie department in, which is rare. So Lou and Leo had their whole staff in this week and got to spend some really good quality time with all the young goaltenders and did a ton of extra work before practice and stuff. So I'm sure these guys are going home with a lot of stuff to build on. But we had some big goalies out there. I've never seen the size of some of these goalies. So that was pretty unique in itself.
You know a lot about working the blue line. You've seen a lot of generations now, drafts come in here. What do you notice about just the evolution of defensemen? It seems like all these kids are coming up so mobile, just great puck movers these days.
Yeah, I couldn't do half these drills, even when I was playing in the NHL. So, yeah, that is the big thing I notice now, the skating, the mobility, the hip work, the 10 and 2 stuff they can do. So, the game has evolved so much, and all these kids are so much far further along than I was when I played. So it's not that hard to mold them into something when they can skate like that.
I want to say one more thing. An area of concern was we talked to a lot of guys about Blink-182 this week. I heard it from my dad. We heard a kid say Blink-180 whatever.
Yeah.
I know they had a good time, but are you concerned with the lack of knowledge kids these days have?
I wasn't expecting anyone to really know who they were, but then once they heard a few songs, they knew who they were. They may not have known who they were, but they do know at least 3 or 4 songs. But I think they all enjoyed it. One kid just told me it was his first ever concert in his life.
Hornsby, yeah. He told
So, yeah, him too. No, Mateo also was. I mean, we just exited him. He was like, "Yeah, a lot of firsts for me this week. My first concert." I'm like, "Your first concert?" I'm like, so I think it was good. It was a good experience. You know, it was fun. It wasn't long. It was whatever. You know, they were a little tired the next morning. I think a little drowsy, but I think for most of the guys, they really enjoyed it.
And just the other stuff. I mean, the sushi rolling, dodgeball, community event. Just how much fun do you?
The sushi one was fun
Yeah.
because there were at least five guys that have never eaten sushi in their lives. So I made sure to go around and watch all their first bites, and they all got it down. There was no chokers, there was no water being needed, and they actually liked it. So I know when I turned pro, I had never eaten sushi or fish for that matter. So I've been there before, but it's about, you know, getting out of your comfort zone and doing different things. I think you know, the staff at the college did an unbelievable job to have their head chef making us make sushi rolls. I know Tommy Mackey was really jacked up because he actually makes sushi but can't actually master it yet. So we had a whole dialogue about how to do the rice. That's the key. So he's going home with the mindset of making a real sushi roll now.
And last one for me is still kind of in the fun realm, but I know a lot of guys came here early. A lot of guys spent some time at the beach. I didn't see any sunburns out there. Do you actually educate the guys on? Do you remind them to put screen on, or are they just responsible kids?
Yeah, one kid got here a day early. I think it got a little crispified, but there was no one too bad. Well, we purposely try not to do too many activities outside because we know how hot it is, and a lot of these guys have not been in the sun before, and you know, to go on the ice and then go do an activity outside would be not too much fun for them, and we'd have to buy 100 cans of sunblock for them. But I made sure they all dipped their toe in the water, at least the ones that weren't scared of sharks. But I think it was nice being across from the beach. They could all at least go walk around and see what it's all about.
When you have to say goodbye to these guys after decamp, is it do you kind of see it as like a parent sending their kid off to college or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are somewhat the development staff, somewhat like a big brother, father figure / mentor thing. So yeah, the most exciting part is watching them grow over the years. And, you know, when they've been to 1, 2, 3 of these, they turn pro, and just seeing the changes in their attitudes, their physical development and all that, their maturity, and watching the guys that were the quiet ones now become the leaders of the group for the rest of the group. So that's when we know we've done our job.
How about just Owen Brady? He obviously got banged up yesterday, was able to participate today. What did you just kind of take away from your impressions of interacting with him?
He's a great kid. From a personality standpoint, he stood out maybe amongst the whole group. He's a very funny, humorous guy, great attitude on life, and you know, toughed it out with the stitches, a little war wound. He's got a story to tell when he goes back home. But he did a great job this week. We're very fortunate to have him here. He was a pretty special kid.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, guys.